Give me a chance. Yeah, baby, try. Just one more night, then make up your mind.
Hey guys, welcome to the Christian and Tiffany channel. It is great to see you. Today we are talking more about parenting because we are parents and we've made a lot of mistakes and we found some things that work well and have read a lot of books and have gotten a lot of advice from wise people that have gone before us. And so we're going to share some of what we have learned through all of those means with you today. So today we're talking about
the 5 ultimate parenting goals.
5 ultimate parenting goals. And I think sometimes we would think, oh yes, that our kids make it to college, or that they have a scholarship, or, they don't get knocked up before they get married or whatever. We're talking about the parenting goals of developing their inner self-worth, their character, their integrity, all of those things. So here's what we're going to show you. 5 things that we consider to be ultimate parenting goals. Number 1 is for them to understand obedience.
Yes.
It's hard. Number 2 is kindness.
Yep.
Number 3, I have to look at my list, is character.
Uh-huh.
4 is responsibility. And 5, fun. You got to teach your kids how to have fun so they don't go to the wrong places to get the fun. All right.
Yep.
So you want to start with number 1, obedience. It's a hard one to start with because, there's a lot of conflict with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is. I agree. Now, for one of the biggest things for us was in obedience isn't there's 2 types of parenting. So in the beginning, kind of our philosophy on obedience is 0 to 10 is kind of the corporal punishment, right? It's immediate punishment. You do this, X equals Y. And so it's go in and, they're going to have that timeout. They're going to have that immediate consequence, the 2-year-old, the 3-year-old, at which point, as they get older and begin to develop and their mindsets change, we do parenting towards destiny. So depending on the kid, the maturity level, I just told my son about this. He just turned 13 and we had this whole, discussion about, you're 13, so not everything that you do impacts the destiny that God's got for your life. And so we kind of parent out of that destiny, and how's it tied into, if you make a mistake, how's that tie into, what are the repercussions with friends, with your work, with the different things that are in your life, and how does that tie into your destiny? So
it's so good. So your parenting style really changes as your kids grow and get into those middle school ages.
Right.
I think some people are afraid of the word obedience, or they don't like it or feel uncomfortable with it. I think for 2 reasons. One of them is there's kind of this theme this day and age, it seems, where making your children obey is a form of oppression, and that you really need to let your kids be free spirits and be expressive and really honor who they are as individuals and not restrain them in their development and their curiosities. And I think that there's a lot of truth to that, but again, it's age appropriate.
Right.
You
don't let a 2-year-old have free expression in the front yard.
Yeah,
Ends
because
with
they'll
them
get
going
hit
in the
by
street.
a car. Yeah. And so it's really important when your kids are younger that you really do enforce this idea that we are your authority and we have rules in place because we love you and because we want to keep you safe.
Right.
And by doing so, you're also really setting them up for success as adults, because they know how to receive criticism and direction from adults or from authority over them. And it's not so hard for them to adjust to the reality and just real life of having bosses and having professors or teachers or people that advise them. And I think the second reason that people tend to back away from the idea of obedience is because it's just hard as a parent to be consistent with obedience. And so I struggle with this for a long time with laundry, for example. It's easier for me just to do my kids' laundry, wash it, dry it, fold it, hand it to them in neat stacks and say, put this away. Because when I make them do it, or I set an expectation for them to do it, I have to remind them, have you done your laundry? I have to remind them to switch it from the washer to the dryer. I have to remind them to sort their clothes. I have to remind them to fold it. And then especially for my younger ones, which were, my 5-year-old, we're really establishing now that she needs to fold her own clothes and put it away at 5 years old. And she melts down. It's too hard. It's not too hard for her to take all of her clothes out of her drawers. So it shouldn't be too hard to put them back in her drawers, you know? And so it's a lot of work to invest in your children, to teach them obedience and to hold them accountable to it. And so, you know, sometimes we're like, just forget it. I'll let them have their way. Whatever. I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight with you. I'm tired of nagging. Go away. I'll do it. And we think we're being gracious parents, but we really are doing them a disservice when we don't hold them accountable to follow through with what we've asked them to do. And so we feel like one of the biggest ultimate goals for a parent is that you make the effort, you take the time, you're disciplined, and you're on the same page as a married couple to make sure that you're teaching your kids there are rules. I expect you to follow those rules, and it's because we love you and we know it's the best thing for you.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Number 2, kindness. You want to talk about that?
I just talked a lot. You talk about kindness.
You want kind kids. If you've seen Cinderella, have courage and be kind.
Courage and be kind. Yeah.
But, you know, you want kids that are kind to themselves and that are kind to others. And so, you know, with kids, it's interesting. You know, a lot of people say, well, my kid's inherently good. I had a conversation this week with somebody at work.
Kids are inherently good?
Yes. And so it's like, my kid always behaves. And I was like, And I was like, have you ever put a 2-year-old in a room with other 2-year-olds and put something really awesome in the middle and just watched what happened without supervision? Kind of what happens. They're innately pretty much not kind. That's a skill that has to be taught and honed and crafted in your kids.
They're innately selfish and self-preserving. We're born that way, that we have a natural instinct to defend ourselves and to make sure that it's like a survival instinct, that we have what's ours and what we need and what we want, and we fight for it.
Or you fight, right? So fight or flight's a natural human response, and you see that in kids. They're the kid that kind of goes away and is going to play by themselves in the corner, or they'll fight for the toy that they really want. They kind of have both of those responses. And so you just have to train. Either one of those is really okay. They need to learn how to interact with each other and do it with kindness.
And you don't want a kid that will always let other people have their own way. Like, you don't want the 2-year-old that's like, fine, you can have it, and they walk away disheartened. Nor do you want the 2-year-old that's going to grab it and push the other kids and bite them if necessary to get what they want. And the idea is that no matter where your kid is in that spectrum of fight or flight, that you teach them that your natural instinct is not to think of others first, but it's a good thing to think of others first. And here's why. When I give you this, how does that make you feel? Did it make you feel really special? Did it make you feel loved when I gave you this thing that was special to me? Wouldn't you want to make other people feel special that way? You know, that's kindness. When my kids are they fight. I mean, I wish there was like a pill that we could give them that would just make the fighting stop.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But we do not drug our children, so even if there was a pill, we wouldn't do it.
Unless it was more unethical, and then I might would.
It's hard work for parents. I mean, it really is, and it is an ultimate goal and something that we have to invest in, and that is teachable moments where we can take a kid, separate them from the laser focus of self-preservation, and get them to look at the big picture of how their actions are affecting others, and then to choose kindness.
Well, that's so good.
Okay, number 3, character. Ooh, and character is a lot. I mean, right from wrong, being honest, having integrity, and a big part for our kids and for our family on teaching on character is teaching about Jesus and just following that example, which includes the kindness that we talked about and the obedience that we talked about. But how do we teach them character? Give us some examples. Give them some examples of how, like, you teach. We've had a lot of teachable moments.
Integrity, who you are when no one else is looking.
Yeah.
And so I think if you're going to start with character, then you got to start with, what is that definition? What is character? What is integrity? Why does it matter? And for us, the reason it matters is because, you know, and I told my son this for his birthday, is it doesn't matter what you think about yourself. It doesn't matter what other people think about you. It matters what God has to say about you. And so for us, that's the standard, and therefore everything flows out of that. And, you know, you've got to have integrity and character. And so we do that with working on lying or stealing or cheating. And our kids have done all of those things.
A lot. So if you think about it this way, kindness is what is perceived on the outside. Character is the dialogue that goes on the inside.
Right.
So you can have kids that act right when everybody's looking, but in secret, maybe they're doing things they're not supposed to be doing. Maybe their inner dialogue, they're cussing you out, mama. And you know, because you can see it in their eyes, but they're being kind and they're not saying it out loud because they don't want to get in big trouble.
Right.
So the character is the attitude, the intentions, the motivations, and the perceptions on the inside that they have. And so we don't just want to raise kids that behave well. We want to raise kids that believe well and that have an inner dialogue that points them towards kindness, points them towards obedience, and towards responsibility. Number 4.
Responsibility.
Oh, we could talk for hours, so we're really going to have to be careful because responsibility is one that we've had so much fun with.
Yeah.
Starting with the laundry, like I told you about. Why don't you tell everybody about how we've encouraged our kids to make money and how to handle that?
Yeah. So started off as we're really young. Haven't always done this, as I was told. I guess I did it in spurts, which is kind of like my personality.
We've
to
tried
do things
different
in
things,
spurts,
and some
but,
things stuck, and some.
You know, one of the things that we liked and that I'd heard and that I really enjoyed was, do you want to be a capitalist or a socialist? And what does that mean? Well, I wrote a board and I said, if you're this old, I think Ezra was like 4 at the time and wanted a fishing pole. I was like, I will give you $4 a month to be a Chapman and to, you know, do the Chapman chores, right? Make your bed, brush your teeth, you know, the basic stuff. Or I had another chart and it was like 25 cents to pick up poop in the backyard and 25 cents to wipe the baseboards and 50 cents to do this and that. And he added them up and realized, he was like, if I do everything on that chart, it's worth $8 or I can get $4. And I'm like, do you want to be a capitalist? Your income's as much as you want to make, as hard as you want to work, you can make all the money you want to make. And he chose that route, saved up for that fishing pole. And something stuck, and he realized that. And so when he was 8, 9, 9's when he started his business?
Yeah, I think
it was
so.
9.
I think he was 9 years old.
So we're going into the 4th year this year that he's had his own business.
Yeah.
A dog poop pickup business. He realized real fast that he could make a lot more money getting out there and hustling and taking care of stuff than what I was going to pay him. And it's been really fun to watch his clients and to watch him just follow through year after year. And so he's got his own account. Money goes into that account every month from all his different clients that he has and allows him to get stuff.
He's saving up right now for a plane ticket to Oregon to spend a few weeks with my sister and brother-in-law in Oregon fishing and chopping wood and doing outside manly stuff that he cannot wait for.
Oh, yeah.
He's being intentional about his finances, and he tithes every single time he goes to church. He brings along money to tithe. And so it's just this idea, if you want something badly, you got to work for it. It's not just going to be handed to you.
But let's tie into responsibility, because you'd think, oh, this kid always did good. So there was one time that Tiff hired him for a job to help her take out weeds in the backyard. How did that end
Or was
up?
it
No, you were pulling weeds in
we
the
were
backyard.
pulling weeds. So this was
Anna.
before he had the poop pickup business. Which, by the way, I mean, he's 13. He's been doing this since 9, so I play a big part in that.
Oh, sure.
You know, I did a Facebook post and said, hey, if anybody needs their yard picked up, you know, my 9-year-old, my 10-year-old, my 11-year-old, my 12-year-old son is happy to come and help. And about once or twice a year, I would put a post out there and he would get a couple more clients. And then I text reminders to those clients every day to say, you know, Ezra will be there today, just as a reminder, because they'll put money in an envelope underneath the mat or leave the gate unlocked for him, or they're even paying through Venmo now, which is cool, so I can transfer it to his account. So I play a part in it, and I could ask him, you need to pay me a percentage because I'm doing all your bookkeeping.
But we kind of do it differently. What I'll do is he'll be like, Dad, I really want this. And we'll go somewhere and I'll be like, all right, you owe me for that. And he has to pay me for it. And so that's kind of the way we've been taking the money from that side of it, is expenses, right? Because there really are expenses in business. And so he has to pay for little stuff here and there.
He does. He bought himself his own lizard, a bearded dragon, but he had to buy the terrarium and all the lights and all the equipment before we let him actually buy it. And the fact that he was able to do that with his own money was a really rewarding experience for him. But back to the weed pulling, before the poop pickup business, he was, you know, earning quarters and dollars. And I had asked him to pull weeds in the backyard or front somewhere.
It's in the backyard.
And he was working on it and then got distracted and considered it done well enough. And he moved on. And so I went back and I was like, I thought you were pulling weeds for me. He's like, I did. It's like, no, you didn't. So I went back and I showed it to him and I was like, you know, there's this weed and this weed and this weed. and asked him to do it again. And so he went back out there and did some more work and then got bored and moved on. I fired him. I was like, I get it that you did 75% of the job, but you didn't do 100% of the job. I'm not paying you because you didn't finish the job. And so just helping them understand that to be responsible, it's not just about being good with money and knowing how to make money. It's about having follow through. And it really doesn't have to do with money at all.
No.
It's just about commitment and follow through. It's about doing things well. It's about finishing what you start. Responsibility is about leading well.
Yep.
Like our older kids lead our younger kids, and it's about, hey, I'm gonna go take a nap. I'm gonna go take a walk. I'm gonna run to the store real quick. I'm gonna leave you guys responsible for your younger siblings, and when I come back, I expect X, Y, and Z. Of course, I expect them all to be alive.
That's the main takeaway.
That's big. But I'll give them a task so they're busy while I'm gone and they're not just messing with each other or whatever.
But the way that's transpired into their life is now they're serving and, they help out the younger kids and they help out the older kids.
Yeah.
And when they go to youth, they're setting up chairs and tearing down chairs. And they've helped in serve days and local missions. And it's neat to see, the thing about parenting that's really tough is you're sowing all these seeds that you hope are right. I mean, really, honestly, like, is everything we're saying right? Take what you like and,
And honestly, we're planting some weeds along with those fruitful things. And
you don't get to see the harvest for a long time.
Yeah. And then as the weeds pop up, we're like, oops, that didn't work real well. Let's pull that out, plant something else in its place. But the idea behind responsibility is that you have to set expectations and then you have to inspect what you expect. And you have to hold them to that standard of excellence. And it's not about being a perfectionist. Like for my 5-year-old, if she folds her clothes and puts it away, but really it looks like they're just crumpled up, that's okay. Because she did her best for her age.
Right.
I don't compare my kids one from the other. I compare my kids to their last performance. And I know you did better last time, so I expect you to do at least that well this time and maybe to improve next time. And so, I guess that's all. I don't want to keep going, but...
Yeah, we could keep going.
Each
one of these could be its own video, really.
So true.
Maybe we need to do that.
Okay, so number 5, the last thing is you are winning as a parent. Ultimate parenting goal. If you teach your kids how to have fun without taking risks of disobedience. I think a lot of times when they think of like home, it's about chores and rules and blah, blah, blah. And to really have fun, I have to go break the rules. To really have fun, I go to my friend's house her mom doesn't make her do this. Her mom lets her eat as many chips as she wants. And her mom lets her have cake for dinner. And then they get this idea that real fun comes from doing all of these other things that are forbidden when they're at home.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about a little bit about fun. So I like creative, adventuring kind of fun, wild and crazy stuff. But that's semi-controlled. I'm a part of it. I kind of know what's going on.
We know they're not going to die.
Yeah. And so, like, I've done cake for dinner. We went to Costco one night. And I was like,
so cool.
They'll think that we ate cake for dinner the rest of their life, like every night. Because you know how thoughts work for kids. One night they got to eat cake for dinner, and
honestly, just to say, we did get pizza, but we literally got a cake and we got forks and we dug into that cake and we ate like half of it, and then we moved on and ate our pizza.
Yeah, so I mean,
Why not?
Yeah, you just create fun moments. I took them to a creek the other day, and it was freezing. And I let them all take their shoes off and just wade up the creek, have some crazy adventures and fall in. I knew they were all going to fall in. And, being a nurse, I kind of timed it. I was like, we got about 30 minutes in this water before I need to pull them out. And so we did that. For Ezra's birthday, it started snowing outside. And so me and him...
Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh. I won't show a picture of this, but oh my gosh. Go ahead.
No, you jumped in. Go for it.
I'm still like... Christian was like, he's 13. Like, he needs to have like this kind of like an inauguration, like this becoming a man moment that he will never forget. And so it is 33, 32 degrees. There's freezing rain, right? And he goes, let's get in the car. We're going somewhere. And I know about it, so I'm like secretly packing blankets and towels. Y'all listen, Christian and our son... They ran in their underwear into a lake in the middle of this freezing temperatures. And they got in about up to their hips, and they were like, okay, that's good. We're good. I thought they were going to dive in, but they didn't. But the cool thing about it was, one, it is a man up moment that Ezra will never forget. And two, his dad did it with him. He will never forget being a man and running into a lake when it's snowing around. I mean, like, it was the coolest moment. But as a mom, I was like, everybody in the car, get your blankets on. And everybody was fine. It worked out great.
I didn't let him put his head under because it's flu season, pneumonia. I didn't want him to have pneumonia.
The idea, though, is like, have fun, have their friends over, do crazy things. My girls had a friend over, and we made a list of a whole bunch of crazy things to do at the grocery store. And they had to draw from the list, or from this bag, right?
Yep.
So we're at the grocery store, and okay, it's my turn, and they pull it out. And it's ask a stranger where the Depends are. Oh my goodness, they pulled out another one. It was like, hug a stranger, another, I mean,
Dance in the aisle.
Dance in the aisle
Act
for
like a
30
monkey.
seconds, go over to the produce section, pick up a banana, act like a monkey, all the way at the register, buy it and eat it, acting like a monkey the whole time. I mean, like, just silly, crazy stuff with my girls. They never will forget that day. And so the idea is that we want to not only be a source of structure, but we want to be a source of fun, because we want kids to see that you can have crazy, wild fun and love your life while still being safe.
Yeah.
While not being foolish. And some of the things that we do are foolish, but in a safe way. But it is a major win. We have done something really, really well, and we've accomplished our goal if our kids are the life of the party, and it's not because they're the ones who brought the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you want to add?
No, you summed it up well.
All right, guys. So that's it. 5 ultimate parenting goals from Christian and I's so far experience. We have ways and ways and ways to go, for sure. And we're learning, and we probably would add a lot more to that if we did this 5 years from now.
Oh, yeah, for sure we will.
We're just now entering into, we have one teenager now. So I would be interested to see, if you comment below, if you have teenagers or even kids going off to college, what would you add to that list of 5 that we have so far?
Yeah.
So we talked about obedience, we talked about kindness, character, responsibility, and good old clean fun.
So good.
Okay, do the thing.
Don't forget to subscribe, click the bell, and if you have comments or you have suggestions for future videos, please leave them in the link. We would love her in the comment section, because we read all of them. We like to respond to them and get good advice, and we'll throw it out there.
Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Y'all, I gotta be honest, we have a Twitter account. We've been posting stuff there, but it doesn't, I mean...
Do y'all Twitter?
Do y'all Twitter?
Do you Twitter?
I feel like, I don't know. Tweet. So anyway, we'll be more diligent with Twitter if y'all are following us on Twitter, but we mostly been spending our time with Facebook and Instagram. You can also email us if you want to talk to us individually at info@christianandtiffany.com. We would love to hear from you. And I think that's all.
Bye.
Y'all have a great day.